First of all, I would like to thank all of our audience to attending again this workshop. And during the previous interviews, we have presented the point of view of business sector on how this cross-disciplinary courses is important for them. Now we have Professor Sabina Stramesh Blankes. Sabina is a professor at the Arctic University of Norway. And actually, she will introduce herself, but I would like to say a few words about her. So Sabina is professor of economic geology, and she work a lot with business and mining sector. So I think she is one of the best professor here at Tromsø University that can reflect on the experience of this collaboration between academia and business. So I think this is very, very short introduction about you, Sabina. So maybe you can introduce yourself by better way.
Yeah, thank you, Tamer. Yes, as you said, my name is Sabina Stermic-Palinkas. I'm associate professor here at University of Tromsø, the Arctic University of Norway in ore geology, mineral resources, and my background is in geochemistry. I joined University of Tromsø in September 2015, so I have been here for a little bit longer than 6 years. I have a master and a PhD degrees from University of Zagreb in Croatia. After I got my PhD in Croatia, I started there my position as assistant professor in field of geochemistry. And after that, I moved to New Zealand, where I was working for 2 years in the field of epithermal gold and silver deposits. After 2 years in New Zealand, I applied for position in Tromsø, and then I moved here.
Okay, so from this nice introduction, I think you have two type of experience. First of all, you moved from country to another to Tromsø, and also I think your background is geochemistry, and now you are going a bit toward economic geology or ore geology. So you have this sort of two legs, one in geochemistry and one in economics. This is perfect. So I would like to ask you about your connection with the industry. So are you working with the industry? Are you have some research project there?
Yeah, so first maybe I can start. When I came to Tromsø, I inherited a project and a PhD student working in that project. So the project was funded through Tromsø Kommune, but it was supported by Sintef, and also, though it was not funded through Nussir AS, the mining company, the field of activity or the area of activity was related with the historical place of mining for copper in Finnmark at that time. So this was kind of my first contact with industry in Norway. Then I was quite lucky when I came to Norway that at that time there was an active cluster, Mineral Klynge Norge, which was a cluster of industrial partners, public authorities, and academia. And they were active in the field of the whole value chain in mining sector. So that was, again, very strong connection that I got with industry in Norway. And through Mineral Klynge Norge, I got, in fact, my first research money in Norway. I got a funding. It was approximately 200,000 kronas for research on, and it was really fundamental research on origin of volcanogenic massive sulfide deposits in northern Norway. And the funding was provided 50% through Mineral Klynge Norge, 50% through LNS, the mining company. So basically this first amount of money really was real seed money, because when I started that work in VMS deposits in northern Norway, that was a really excellent link for to extend my research network in Norway. So then I got in contact with researchers from University of Bergen.
Mhm.
They had long-lasting expertise in both in VMS deposits on land, but also they are developing a kind of completely new research field on recent hydrothermal activity along mid-ocean ridges. So this first money that I got from industry really triggered something bigger.
Mm.
And now we have another project at University of Tromsø. So this is kind of extension, or yeah, like yeah, let's say extension of what we have started in 2016 with this first seed money. I have a project funded by Equinor Academia of Thale. So Equinor, it's another, as you know, it's the largest oil and gas company in Norway.
Mhm.
But also they are very devoted to fundamental research. So they are supporting several research projects per year at different universities. And I was lucky to get one among of these quite prestige research projects. So again, though it's funded through industrial money, again, we are talking about fundamental research.
Okay. I think this is very interesting. Sorry to interrupt you, but this is
Sure.
very interesting because you say you started with 200,000 krona from business sector, but it's funded fundamental research. So this means that business sector are interesting to give money for academia for fundamental, not for something for themselves.
It seems so. Yeah, it
Yeah.
seems so. And through this first seed money, we also it was enough to educate three master students. So in fact, four. So one was working in Sulitelma, and two others were working in Upper Allochthon of Caledonites. So students were combining, and probably that will bring us to another kind of more interdisciplinary approach.
Mm.
But then from this amount of money, we supported the fieldwork and analytical work of three master students working as a team. So one of them was working on structural geology because all mineral deposits in northern Norway, they are strongly affected by the formations and metamorphism. So it was important to have structural geologists in the team. Then another student was working on geochemistry, on evolution of fluids and so on. So it was
Mm.
complete ore forming oriented thesis. And then the third student, she was working on environmental aspects of that particular mineralization.
Mm.
So we combine, let's say, hard rock geology, geochemistry, and environmental geology, geochemistry in the same project.
Yep, this is very, very interesting actually. But you said that uh, this fund you are using for PhD master student. So this means that you involve also master students in this research project. Do you involve bachelor students somehow to some extent?
Yeah, it's a bit tricky, but I had one student who was working on so-called project in geology, because here in Tromsø, as you know, we don't have a classical, let's say, small diploma thesis or something that at some other universities in Europe exist.
Mm.
So, for instance, again, when I'm comparing with my experience with teaching in Croatia, there at the end of bachelor thesis, students always have a very small project, but it's really kind of mini research project where
Mm.
they have to put some effort. Basically, they are working over one semester on very, very small research
See this
project.
also, yeah.
And they have to defend that project in front of committee. So it looks really like a defense of master thesis. But it's just that the volume of amount of work, it's of course much smaller, and the topics are less demanding because of course students at that level, they don't have enough skills to do some really, really deep
Mm.
science.
Mm.
But still they're exposed to real research. They're spending some time in lab or in the field, depending on, of course, on their projects and on their supervisors. Yeah, so here we have opportunity to do something similar, but it's very individual, and some of students at the third year, they can take that so-called project in geology. It's a 10 credit course.
Mm,
And basically, in this same, when I'm still talking about this first seed money that I got through Mineral Klingenorge and LNS, I had one bachelor student. She got a bachelor degree with us. After that, she moved to NTNU, where she completed her master thesis, and now we are collaborating again because she got a job in Skaland graphite mine on Senja. So now we are again in contact. And last week she was invited to present her company on UIT Raw Material University Days. So yeah, this is one of examples where we
mm.
can include some of bachelor students also in our research.
Yeah, this is good. Actually, if you allow me to fish few words from your words, you said two things that I would like to reflect a bit on that. First of all, you said that this 200,000 krona, the first seed, is trigger first sort of collaboration between you and Bergen University, and then from this collaboration, academic collaboration, this trigger another funding for other activities, again from business sector. And you said that one of your bachelor students, this is the second point, one of your bachelor students who tried to involve in this process, she succeeded to go to master or maybe PhD
No, it was master.
in
Yeah.
master in another university related to economic geology, and now she is involved in the business sector itself, and she is working now with the same company or with other company. So this means that such type of collaboration between business and academic first can give opportunity for us as a researcher to connect between researchers themselves, and also give opportunity for students to explore their future. So do you think you can a bit elaborate about this point?
Yeah, I completely agree with what you summarize here. So I think that it's very, very important for students to be exposed to industry during their study years. This is the one of way to show them where they can find their jobs. I mean, we should be honest that only a very, very small percentage of our students will end up in academia or in really fundamental research,
Mhm.
but we have to prepare our students for real life kind of linked with industry. And not only industry, also it would be probably very good to expose students to some to see how public authority works, like for instance a mineral directorate or a Norwegian petroleum directorate. So all these governmental institutions that
Mm,
also have both research, but they are probably asking for some additional skills from our students that we usually don't provide, like understanding of legislation, working with a lot of paperwork and
mm,
things like that.
mm. So maybe I again interrupt you about this point. Do you have experience like one student came to you and say, okay, I have applied for this job at this governmental issue or governmental body, and unfortunately I didn't get it because my experience in this topic is not high enough?
No,
So
I
do you,
don't.
okay.
Yeah, maybe there are cases like that, but usually when you're interviewed for job, probably the potential employer will not really exactly tell you, we haven't offered your position because of this particular reason. So
Okay, but this
no, yeah.
reason may be under the table.
Yeah, or
Okay.
yes, or at least we will make our students more ready for the market if we provide them with some soft skills that we
Yep.
can. Yeah.
Yep. Yes. But you didn't comment on the second point about this collaboration between research group and research group, academia based on this business interaction or business
Yeah.
collaboration. Yeah.
So yes, I mean this first amount of money was not really, yeah, it's not a lot for, at least not from Norwegian perspective, but it was really enough to show that there are some activities. Also, it kind of put on the paper what are my commitments, what kind of research I want to conduct. So for me as a newcomer to this country, it was extremely important to start to establish
Mm,
my own research.
mm.
So I'm extremely grateful for that first project. I mean, for all of them, but that one, it's very special.
Yeah. But your experience with the mining sector or business sector started from 2015, or you had something
16.
before?
And
16.
so yeah, well, when I was in New Zealand,
Mm,
there that project was also kind of supported through industry. So that project, so I was a researcher at University of Auckland, and the project was funded mostly through Ministry of Employment and Economy, something like that. But also it was supported by a few mining companies.
okay.
So I had, let's say, on daily basis, I had contact with a gold company, Newmont Gold Company in Waihi, on North Island of New Zealand. But that I don't see that as my own project because I was hired to the project. So I had
Mm,
a really good connection with industrial and support in terms that I had access to samples and so on. But the funding was gained by my PI before I came to New Zealand.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
But you at
Then
least have something before.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then before that, for almost 15 years, I was working in Southern Europe
Mm,
on the in the area of ex-Yugoslavia. So though I'm from Croatia, in Croatia we don't have any active mine of metals. So I did all my thesis were kind of all my work was in Bosnia, in Macedonia, Kosovo, Montenegro, and yeah, kind of the rest of ex-Yugoslavia space. And there we had, I mean, mining sector there before 2015 was kind of suffering from, still we were after war and the mining sector was not really strong. So now what I can see, especially in Serbia, there are many international companies. This mining sector, it's much more alive than it was before I left that area. But always we had a new kind of support, not in terms of funding, because at that moment companies were not really able to provide money, but they were always very supportive in terms that we could access their sites. They were providing us with historical data, giving us support in terms of if you need a local geological support, in terms that some people follow you in the field, or even in terms of vehicles and so on. And then because I'm still active in that area, now we are still, I mean, we have been before COVID times, and I hope that we will continue to do same thing. I'm still organizing the field trip in ore geology course for Norwegian students in Macedonia. Sorry, I have my
no, bro.
phone.
Yep.
I will just mute and I will turn my
Yeah,
phone off.
please. Yeah, please go.
Sorry for this.
No problem, Sabina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes. So yeah. So every year I'm bringing Norwegian students to Macedonia,
Mm,
and that field activity it's organized like a 5-day field work. And in those 5 days, we are visiting 5 different ore deposits, and 4 of them are active sites.
yep.
So basically, we are supported by 4 different mining companies because they are providing us with all field equipment, field vehicles, their geological team, their safety team, and so on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a comment on this point. Maybe the audience don't know that I am also geologist. Maybe not or economic geologist, but I am petrologist, and I would love to join this field trip as a student with you.
Yes,
Yep.
I
So
hope that
consider me in future as a student.
yeah, I think that you will find that area very interesting. And yeah,
Yep.
we should discuss that. So hopefully next May we will be able again to travel as before COVID.
Yeah.
So you are more
So
than
we can
welcome
do
to.
something. Thank you
Yes,
very much.
yeah.
Thanks, Sabine. Um, you have highlighted a lot of points, and you showed that there is sort of great integration between mining sector and what you are doing. So do you think this integration also, even you have highlighted that there is sort of integration between what we are doing in academia and governmental institutes. Do you think this integration can be set up in other topics, research topic like in chemistry, in biology, in
Yeah, I think so, especially in chemistry. If you have factories or companies dealing in, in production of any kind of chemicals, I don't see a big difference between mining sector and chemical sector.
Mm,
For biology, I don't know, probably yes, but for instance, biotechnology or similar fields where we have both science and technology together, I think that it's that all kind of yeah, fields like that could do similar things like in mining sector.
okay,
Yeah.
this is great.
So yeah, you can expose students to both the industrial experience, but also to some kind of public sector experience.
Yep. I have something to discuss with you, maybe not direct related to this because you have reflect on this relation between business or mining sector and the academic sector. Uh, I would like you to reflect a bit about um, within the academic sector itself, within the top with different topic. Like, for example, I am aware that you are working now with a project between chemistry department and geology department. So do you think this is a good idea to establish sort of courses, collaboration program between different institute, different faculties within the same university or maybe between different universities?
Yeah, I think that this is really essential, especially, I mean, me as geochemist, of course, I see this kind of clear link between chemistry and geology, but also biology, it's important component here. Uh, I mean, environmental issues are clear, and we have environmental issues that can be related with mining activity, but it can be related with any kind of activities that humans are doing. Also, there are sometimes issues just with natural contamination. So, for instance, if you have a large ultramafic body, that ultramafic body, it's a natural source of contamination once when it's exposed to weathering conditions. So, this integration of chemistry, biology, and geology, I think that is essential if we want to establish really a solid environmental related study program in Tromsø. And then,
Yep.
of course, on top of that, some other disciplines can come, like, for instance, development of new technologies or Department of Physics also with providing some analytical methods. So, for instance, also we are collaborating with Department of Physics. So far, we have together, we are co-sharing a Raman spectrometer
Mhm.
because this is an instrument that has application in both fields, in physics and in geology, in fact, in chemistry as well. But so far, we kind of co-own the instrument together with Department of Physics. But also we are trying to start to work with colleagues from Department of Physics in development of microscopy facilities that they need for my fluid inclusion lab, because they have a really strong expertise in nanotechnology, nanomicroscopy, and some of their or of things that they are doing could be kind of integrated in the microscopy lab that I need.
Yep. And also maybe I can just add a body point for that. You just said 5 minutes ago, maybe students when they start to be hired at governmental institute ask or try to find someone who has this legal background. So maybe as well adding other topics like using law in environmental issue, for example, or uh, maybe some skills in business sector. Maybe our students, I am aware that at Tromsø University, 2 years ago, there is a group, two master student or three master student, they was able to establish their company, something like this. So maybe our students can be a future businessman or businesswoman. So we need to give them a bit of skills.
Yes,
Yep.
so to both of those things. So what you said about this legislation part, just yesterday we had our first meeting. I mean, we Matthias Forvik, our head of department, and we had the first meeting with the Norwegian Center for Law of Sea,
Mhm.
because, as I said, we have this active project on recent hydrothermal activity along mid-ocean ridges, and probably you're aware that now Norwegian government is trying to develop new industrial opportunities for deep sea mining.
Mhm.
And this is completely new field everywhere in the world. So we need to know more about the systems as they are, and if mining happen, how that will affect the environment. Also, there is a strong need for some technologies that we still don't have, because mining at 3 kilometers water column, it's not same as mining on land.
Yes.
Also, I know that Norway has this long-lasting expertise in oil and gas sector, but to extract metals or minerals, it's not same as extract liquids. So there are many challenges there. But at the same time, we have a center. It's a research center it's a national research center based in Tromsø. They are dealing with law of sea. So we got in contact with them, and we started to discuss about if there are any opportunity to collaborate. Because
Okay.
basically, when they were presenting what they are doing, and when we are presenting what we are doing, we are using same keywords like,
Mhm.
environment, hydrothermal activity, continental shelf, all these things. And then suddenly, when we start to talk about details, we are talking with completely two different languages, and we cannot really get the point on what they are doing, and they cannot really understand what we are doing.
Yes.
So I can imagine that for our students, it's even more challenging. So it would be great to have more multidisciplinary courses. We don't have any ambitions to teach legislation courses in geology. I mean, there is no sense to convert geologists to lawyers.
Mm.
But if we can provide our students with the suite of skills that they can understand when they are reading, laws, that they know how to do, how to use terminology, and that we at least start to speak with some common dialect, let's
Yep.
say.
Actually, again, I would like to steal from you some words. So I will steal just one word you said now. Maybe our audience misunderstand the context of all the workshop, that we would like to make a course that 50% geology, 50% law, or 50% environmental science, 50% other topic. But this is not what we aiming for. We are aiming for make a course mainly in geology, but maybe we can add just one layer at the top of the course that include other topic.
Yeah.
So not 100% mixing between two topics or three topics, but fundamental things in addition to other skills that students need in their life.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. And then also, I mean, on top of this, of course, legislation, it's one of topic, but then really development of new business, as you said. So there are a lot of potential for junior geologists to establish their own companies, but honestly, I don't know how to do that, especially not in Norway. So again, we don't aim to educate students as that they become economists, but
Mm.
if they know some basic things, how to where to go if they want to establish their company, what they have to take care, what is the risk, how to do some kind of preliminary risk assessment, because probably it's not a big problem to establish a company, but yeah, how to start to work. So
Mm.
all these things, it would be brilliant to have. I would like to take a course like that.
Yep, this is good. Maybe I reflect on that. Actually, parallel to our course or our workshop, we have another course related to Cloud Earth Eye project. This should start this week or next week, something like this. And this is sort of introduction course for exactly what you are saying. So in this course, it's oriented for students, master PhD students. and they will give, or they will have some topics, just basic information about using big data, environmental science, how to establish your business, the challenge that you will face when you are establishing your business. Of course, this is again like very introduction course, but it will be attached with other courses that will give a bit deeper knowledge. So
Sounds brilliant.
we
Yes.
are we are trying to do something, and we'll see.
Yeah,
Yep.
that sounds great.
Yep. So I have three questions more related to this topic. One of them, the opportunities that you are seeing if we succeeded as academic sector to create such courses. This two type of courses that is between the different academic field, and this courses that is between academia and business and society
Mhm.
from other side. Do you think this is can be make a movement in our society?
I
Is it
think so.
positive movement or negative movement?
I think that it should trigger positive movements in the Norwegian society at least, because I mean Norway hosts really a lot of resources in terms of metals. But as you know, mining in this country it's quite behind what we see in Sweden or Finland. And one probably of the main reason it was that all resources, I mean geological resources, were moved to oil and gas sector. And now when oil and gas sector are not anymore so important, or even when they have very, very negative connotation in society, and if we really want to see green shift, it's obvious that we need metals to do
Mm,
that. And one of commodities that we know that we have in huge amounts in Norway, it's for instance copper, and copper is essential for green shift. Then this kind of courses that will really provide young people, new generation of geologists or new generation of professionals in general to start to work in mining sector in Norway, I think that it's really essential.
mm.
Because I mean, we should be really honest to say that at the moment we don't have enough educated people in Norway to really start mining sector almost from zero.
Yep. Actually, not in Norway. I think this is worldwide problem, at
Yeah,
least pan European problem.
exactly.
Yep.
But then in Norway, it's really emphasized even more because again, when we compare what is happening in Finland and Sweden, then Norway is definitely behind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So I am very happy to hear that. I think the interviewer should not reflect on his opinion, but I am happy
Okay. Yeah.
to
Good.
understand. Yes. I would like to ask you more two questions. One of them related to uh, academics. So I meet some academics here and there in Austria, in England, and so on. And they show sort of some resistance to this movement. And sometimes they say, okay, but we have to teach only fundamental issues, fundamental topics. Um, do you think this is correct? Do you think what we should do in order to try to reach a point in between?
Yeah. So I think that definitely we should keep enough fundamental courses at our university, and we shouldn't give up on fundamental research at the university. This really is something that must be. Otherwise, we will just turn to some kind of level of college. But we should also give enough courses or enough opportunities to our students that they can select if they want to go more to industry. Because as I said at some point,
Mm,
we are aware that only small percentage of our students will end up in academia
mm,
or at PhD studies, but majority of students, they will be hired by industry. So we should kind of give opportunities for both and not make any differences saying this is better than another one, because it must be really like a cycle, or it's a one thing. So if we don't educate, I mean, this is at least my personal opinion,
mm.
so educating people just for academia without any application, I mean, I really don't see a point. Then what society will get out of that?
Yes, I agree.
So And then again, if you are going really too much in application without providing solid fundamental opportunities for students, then again we will lose our best students. So I mean, best students, usually very ambitious students, they want to continue with
Academia.
with academia,
Yep.
or at least they want to go to PhD levels or postdoc levels, and so on. So I think that it's important to have both type of courses, so that we keep our fundamental research and that we really keep publishing, that we show to our students that we are very productive in fundamental research. This is also important, again, if we are thinking about funding, that we can attract money not only from industry, but that we are attractive for a funding agency like Norwegian Research Council or European Research Council and so on. But at the same time that we are providing opportunity for students to develop some of those skills that are not offered in regular courses,
Yep.
like in, I don't know, geology, geochemistry, or whatever. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I think again, maybe I can highlight this point from your word that we're not speaking here to replace the fundamental courses. For
Exactly.
example, if we say geology department at this university is offering 10 courses, fundamental courses, okay, maybe the department can offer 14 courses, 10 fundamental and 4 that include this mixing component between different topic or different subject. So
Yep.
this is not to replace the fundamental one, but this to add new courses to give students skills for their future.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
And also maybe I can highlight for you and highlight for our audience, this is an interesting point for this workshop. So this workshop is will continue for almost a month. Today we are in the first day or second day according to the time of the presentation. And from tomorrow, the audience will be divided into small groups, multidisciplinary group, with one task. They try to come with a suggestion of a course that can be taught by this group. So maybe the group we can see someone from law school, someone from geology, someone from chemistry, and they can come with a course that connects these three subjects together. So hopefully at the last day of the workshop to see something from this monitoring period or this discussion. Something just to get reflection from you about it. Uh, do you think that, or from your experience, the business sector or the mining industry sector, they provide university with sort of scholarship, uh, mentoring program, hosting students for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, just for training? If there is something existing like this?
Yes. So just this year, Department of Geoscience got a project which is supported through DICU, I think. Yeah, I think that it's from DICU. And basically that it's a pilot project where we are able to send our bachelor students to different industrial partners. I mean, at the
Okay.
moment, I think they're only industrial partners, but there is ambitions also to extend it to more to public sector. So during this, it's the name of that project. It's Geo Intern,
Mhm.
and it's led by Iver Martensen. I should, yeah, we should check. Yeah. So Iver is it's a leader of this project, and he established really great network of industrial partners that are happy to receive our students. So during
Mm.
this course, I'm not sure is it 5 or 10 credit course. Probably it's a 5 credit course. So our students are sent twice in semester to industrial partners where they are exposed to different activities. I mean, depending on where they are going.
Mm.
So, for instance, for of our students, I know that he went to Skaland graphite mine, where he was logging cores. He was working with their geological team. So basically, he was doing exactly same things as he would do if he will be hired as a junior geologist in that company. So he started with some basic, very small task, and then he was provided with more complex during this period of time. In meanwhile, he was also preparing some reports and things like that. So we see this project as very, very important
Mhm.
and really good way to expose our students to yeah,
To the
industrial.
market.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is for bachelor students at the moment, but probably something similar can be created for master students as well.
Yep.
Yeah,
And again, this is a good, I think in general, this is sort of good opportunity for our students if they are going for industry sector for a couple of weeks to train. This will give them skills, but also I think they give them connection.
exactly.
So this most probably those students who are working with this mining company, after they finish their degree, some of them will work as a fast job, as permanent job with this company
Exactly. So
because they
it's a
have some connection somehow.
yeah, networking. It's really, really important.
Exactly. So we are not teaching just fundamental, but we try to open the door for them for their future.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Also, maybe I
yeah,
can
yeah,
just
please,
add,
please go ahead.
so this is something that it's not related with our university, but in Norway, there is a program that is supported through a Norsk Bergindustri,
Mhm.
where every year they're selecting 2 to 3 students, master students with, so finished master students, for internship program that lasts 2 to 3 years, where those students, or I mean, the fresh master of geology are sent to 2 to 3 mining companies.
Okay,
And this year, we are very proud that 2 out of 3 students are Tromsø students. Uh, so one of them was working on another EIT raw material project, Minex Target. He got his master's degree through that project. Another student was working yeah, in structural geology, and then the third student, it's a student from Trondheim. She has a master in mineral processing.
okay,
Yeah. And they are
okay,
sent to Nussir, to Sibelco, and to Rana Gruber in Mo i Rana.
okay. So I can see there is a very good connection between academia in this context and business and mining sector.
Yes, yeah,
But I think there is persons behind this. There is motivation behind this, and I think you are one of them, one of these persons who are try to motivate, who try to push this connection. So
yeah.
we need someone to drive.
Yeah, but I must say that they have amazing support at our department. So
Yes, yes.
it's
So
always
it's
a
it's
team.
every yeah, it's a teamwork. I
Yes,
completely agree.
yes,
But
yes.
at least there is motivation. There is someone who try to push.
Yeah, but with a good support, it's easy to be motivated. So,
Of course, I completely agree. Yes. So maybe the last point about the challenge, because now from your talk, or from this interview, you have highlighted a lot of opportunities, and I have to say that before I start the interview, my view for the opportunity was like this, but after the interview, I think we have a lot.
okay, good.
Yeah. So, but I think there's a lot of challenge, right?
Yeah, there are challenges, but I mean, there are challenges bring some other opportunities. So yes, there are challenges. Of course, I mean, one of challenges, again, when I'm comparing our connection with industry here in Northern Norway with what our colleagues in Northern Finland or our colleagues in Northern Sweden have through their connections with mining companies. In those countries, of course, the mining sector in Norway looks quite small.
Mm,
So this is one of things. But then again, we have some opportunities that they don't have. So for instance, we have this opportunity to work in places where recent mineral deposits are formed. So yeah, it's difficult. So yeah, it's difficult to say if they are in better situation than us. So yeah, there are some challenges and some opportunities. What else is challenge? Of course, nowadays we are seeing, but this is a challenge. It's a global challenge that we don't have. That we have this declining number of students going to natural sciences, including geology, and that especially in Norway, students see geology as equivalent for oil and gas sector. So this is something that we should really at the national level highlight, that geology or geoscience, it's much more than oil and gas. That also include mineral resources, but even it's much broader than that, and that proper environmental study cannot be conducted without knowledge of geology, and geology it's everywhere around us. So yeah, so this is one of challenges, and this is really very big challenge, or at least it was, that in last 2 years we had a very small number of new bachelor students. But again, it was not problem of Tromsø, it was really problem everywhere in Norway. But also what I have learned from my colleagues abroad when we were advertising EIT Raw Material University Days that we had last week here in Tromsø, then from several universities, basically I got a kind of big no from them. They said we cannot advertise your event to
Why?
because we are fighting for every single student to stay at our university. So that gives me impression that no matter where we are in Europe, we all more or less face the same challenge, that there are not enough students willing to go to geology. And then again, if job market in mineral sector would be more open, I mean bigger, then of course young people will see their opportunities, and then they will naturally go to that kind of study program. So it's a cycle. So yeah.
Yep. But do you see there is some challenge to create within academia such cross-disciplinary courses, or these courses from academia to business? So just the creating the courses itself?
Yeah, that again depends on the network. So when I came to Tromsø, I was really lucky that at that moment we had something that, so it was a project funded through Interreg, EU project that was supporting something that we called Nordic Mining School. And Nordic Mining School was a group of 3 universities with an aim to exchange teachers and students. And those 3 universities were University of Tromsø, University of Technology in Luleå, and Oulu University in Finland. And through that project, I met people from those another 2 universities, and they were very open for interdisciplinary research. So we aimed several times to get funding. Unfortunately, we never succeed, but we really managed to make a very strong network where we are still collaborating, we are exchanging students, though we don't have any formal project, and also we are exchanging teachers. So it's really kind of on the level, I mean, especially nowadays with online teaching, even we don't need financial resources to do things like that. So in meanwhile, we extended that network, and at the moment, I would say that we collaborate really well with people from University of Luleå, University of Technology in Luleå, in terms of both like a hard rock geology, structural geology, geochemistry, but also environmental geochemistry. Then with people from Oulu, we have collaboration. They have very strong expertise in mineral processing. So this is something that, for instance, we don't have in Tromsø, but it's again good to provide to our students, that they understand how their material, if they are, for instance, in a mine, what will happen with material that will be exploited from that mine. And then with people from University of Lapland, they have a program. So it's completely another discipline. So they are not even in natural science. So they are in social science, and they are dealing with social aspects of mining, including, for instance, how to get social license to operate in the Arctic area, which is very sensitive topic. And then on top of that, we extended also collaboration with colleagues from Iceland. So basically in that, let's say, cluster, we have now 5 universities from 4 Nordic countries.
Okay, working together, even
Working
with
together,
social science and geology and
yeah,
yep, yep.
and yeah, environmental aspects, and so basically we are aiming to cover the whole value chain in mining sector with focus to Arctic.
Okay, from
And
beginning to the end.
exactly,
Yep.
yeah. So basically, from opening of the area for prospection up to closure of the mine.
Okay. Yep.
And then, yeah, from time to time, when we see that there is some opportunity to get funding, then we are writing some applications. So far, we have applied with two different type of applications. One was for Nordforsk for master program. We haven't got it. And then another one was ITN
Mhm.
for PhD. At the PhD level, again, we haven't got it, but yeah, we learned a lot and we had a
Yeah,
lot of fun.
this is our life, apply and
Yes,
rejection.
yes.
Yes. Now, I think I covered all the point um, from my side. I don't know if you have something to add, but
No,
it's, yeah, please.
yeah, so I really like the interview and yeah, I enjoy it and
Thanks, Sabina. And I,
I
I, I I really appreciate your time. I know that you are traveling today to Bergen to start a new project
yeah,
with
well, we will
industry
see.
somehow.
Yeah, yeah, we will see. So it's a industry, it's a conference supported mostly from industry on deep sea mining.
Okay.
So yeah, we will participate in conference and see
Yeah.
if there are any opportunities there.
Opportunities there.
Yeah,
Wish you good luck
yeah.
with some good fund some good connection. And again, I would like to thank you very much for your time and wish you a safe trip to
Thank you.
Bergen and back to Tromsø after finishing the conference.
Yeah,
No,
thank you.
thanks, Sabina.